Welcome to the Midnight Show. You're with Michael Crosby. I'm a Potus candidate for 2024. Now the big aspect here is to just basically lay it on the line, so to speak. I've been utilizing computers to come up with the best possible tactical plans for decades. So we now have a situation where consistently the computers say, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that I have the best economic and tactical plan. My plans to utilize key experts in different areas of intelligence, military, scientific, and various other creative skill areas is considered by the computer to be dramatically, vastly superior. So we're getting to this point now where the listings and the postings and the talking and the showing of different types of documents is getting to the point where things are coming more to a head, so to speak, because the boredom factor is starting to come into play. You know, the little bit about the cat kind of sort of playing with the mouse a little bit first before it decides to move forward with the concept of destiny of the situation is one that is important, because basically the computers are very good at doing certain things if you understand how to use them. So basically the computers have come to the conclusion that comparing the major candidates effectively means that the evaluation is spelling something, and it comes to the conclusion that in fact the other candidates are incompetent, that they're corrupt, some of them are out and out criminals, that in fact, well, many of these people, because of their own personal greed and memeism and organizations of groups and their personal greed, are not only violating national security, but are on the verge of destabilizing certain countries, which could bring about a great war. Now, personally, I have to step up and say, well, I don't intend to allow y'all to do that. And the big problems here today deal with also the computers keep finding all of these people, well, not actually all of these people, but the proverbial a lot of them in key places that basically they're breaking the law, they're violating the Constitution, they're incompetent, they're untrustworthy to have a national security clearance, they're untrustworthy to trust with finances, they are untrustworthy to trust with national security management and considerations for the nation. These are deep items. So it brings about the necessity that because of, well, some of these people's actions, that there's no choice but to start arresting people and prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law. Now, into this whole thing, I've been posting some of the most incredible evidence that could ever be collected when you're considering violence against one person's campaign, so to speak, one candidate's campaign. So this stuff has been becoming historical. It's going into models. Every hour, a major model is basically zapped out. That data just got shipped off into another model creation project. So the material that I've been putting out is getting absorbed, and these models are absorbing the brilliant knowledge that I have been conveying. Even though it seems fragmented to some people, the true incredible purity of the brilliance is affecting computers all over the world. But the reality that I have to step up and say that the California Secretary of State has violated too many laws, and according to the computer, has committed treason. So has the California current AG, and so has Kamala Harris. Of course, apparently, Joe Biden also has committed some criminal items and tactical inconsistencies at a substantial level that I believe other people have noticed somewhat. But please keep in mind that he has focused extraordinarily well in certain areas. So even though he's running at a deficiency, a diminished capacity, this doesn't mean that some of his work is not on the edge of, well, incredible brilliance, actually. This is something that is part of the reality to understand that, yeah, there are these things, you know. But if we track back over and look at, convicted felon Trump at this point, the computers say that this man is a liar and a criminal and has committed so many crimes that you would need a lot of computers to continuously evaluate this person and their criminal exploits. You're talking about the possibility of employing 80,000 people permanently to just keep unraveling this horrible criminal fiasco that he's furthering. Now, fMRI detectors are really, really helpful in some of these areas to get to certain key facts, key fragments. There's key fragments to substantiate things. You don't need to get to all 400,000 words in a certain section right away. You just need to get to verify certain key points. So, I'm stuck in this dilemma. Here I am, and the computer says I'm the best candidate there is, period. I'm better than all the candidates combined. Not that that would be a good thing or a bad thing, to combine everyone. That would kind of lessen the mix. But the computers are growing bored. I'm growing bored. Because every American citizen needs solutions. They're hurting. The economy's hurting. People need medical care. So here we have the computers backing me as the best AI candidate in the history of the world. The candidate that has a superior plan to any candidate out there. Yet I'm stuck with, people for some reason that want to keep destroying the computers and mobile archive vehicles, the mobile broadcast vehicles. They want to keep destroying them. They want to keep harassing the candidate. They want to keep involving themselves in perpetuating lies and transmitting them across state line. Mass fabrication by justice systems being run corruptly. Now, aside from the computers ascertaining of how many people are corrupt in various areas of government, we have an enormous problem. The problem is the computer says that certain people have to be arrested, that they have violated key points of election law, key points of the Constitution of the United States, key points of the Articles. That basically, in a nutshell, spell that convicted felon Trump is disqualified due to him committing insurrectionist acts and acts of war. Of course, Kamala Harris is also disqualified for participating in acts of war against a candidate. This is a serious matter to say that the two largest parties currently seem to be backing candidates that, according to the Constitution and Articles of the United States, are not allowed to ever set foot in the White House. Neither of them is allowed to be able to handle classified documents according to the computer, they can't be trusted. Their commitment in various situations deals with an array of understandings. Even if we look at Kamala Harris, I mean, convicted felon Trump is somewhat obvious to most of us. It's been all over the news how many months or years now? But if we focus on Kamala, her dereliction of duty respective to obligations, she's violated her constitutional oath, according to the computers. She's refused to respond to give assistance. She's refused to prosecute parties who were violating national security, attacking candidates, attacking elections. This hairball policy stating that that a government employee would have to have AGs defending them is rated by the computer as completely, utterly BS. They're only obligated to pay for the person's defense. That's part of the job title. Nowhere are they allowed to disenfranchise the voters, to deny key services to candidates, because doing so would, well, destabilize continuity of elections as well as continuity of government. The list pretty much goes on. So we have this huge crossroads as I'm recording the midnight show, and I have to come out and explain to people that I need to stand up like Yosemite Sam and say, excuse me, y'all are under arrest because the computer says 92,000 ways from every direction these people are all guilty. You can't trust Kamala Harris. My campaign has 18 mobile broadcast archive campaign vehicles that have been lost at the moment. Of course, SAR is kind of tracking them. We can get it back, you know. Dereliction of duty, horrible, and an array of other crimes as well. So what is the priority? Isn't the priority to retrieve those vehicles, those contents of the archive, as fast as possible? To compensate me and my campaign for the blacklisting that Julie Sue has done. Well, of course it is. Because, well, those are acts of war committed on a candidate. I mean, here we have the Democratic campaign with two major players at the moment. Mrs. Harris here and Julie Sue that have committed a substantial number of national security violations. When it comes to Julie Sue, she is kind of next to Trump. The amount of manpower that the computer is estimating to have to be able to use to get through all of this. I mean, there's a $31 billion great mystery surrounding her. You know, I mean, Ukraine fought like Russia for what I think it was, loose talk, a whole year on that kind of money. I mean, and obviously Senator Romney was the first person to point this out. He's not a dummy. Oh no, not at all. So we have this situation where people are going to go, well, what is this? You have an attitude. The computers just keep coming up again and again. It's like that movie, the very first one, War Games, where the computer keeps trying scenario after scenario after scenario and keeps coming to the same conclusion at the end. So here we are. Here we are, some of the most brilliant technology that I was working on, saving for the right time. Well, it could substantially stop wars, except there's a few international problems here and there. But the thing is, I'm kind of bored. I'm left with no choice. I have to move for the arrest of parties. I have to stand up and publicly say, hey, look, y'all are under arrest. You've committed a lot of crimes. But there's this small problem. I still have people shooting at me. And local law enforcement's not qualified or trustworthy. Or, oh my goodness, they're aligned with one of the wrong sides. I mean, this is just a horrible dilemma. So, do you think that I utilize the computers to come up with a series of tactical deployments, placing of evidence, a method to come deal with all of this to stop some of you maniacs from starting a great war, to stop you from, well, murdering citizens on large scales? California seems to have problems with that. Nice little grandstanding routine, banning cold medicine. Some of us saw it the first time they did it, but when COVID hit, it made it clear. Extra spread pattern, over 9,000 people the first year dead from this extra spread factor because they took effective cold medicine off the shelf. Crime against humanity. Still no apology. Nobody focusing in on real science to deal with that problem. And there are lots of these problems. You know, I'm kind of getting a little on the sick and tired side of playing with some of y'all. You know, I've got some great stuff laid out here. Nothing like helping folks out in Arkansas. I loved it when I was there. You know, it wasn't fun to get stranded in other states when I went to other states, but Arkansas, you know, well, I'll admit that the dead of summer was a little too hot, but other than that, a lot of good people there, you know, yeah. Yeah, I used to help out for people to get a hold of computers. Used to pump them out regardless of loss. That was actually quite enjoyable for a while, even though there was really no money in it for me much. It helped build the archive. It helped get custom equipment. It's kind of odd how that worked, you know, but there's nothing like saying, hey, every citizen of Arkansas and Louisiana needs an extra, $12,000 a year. So it's simple. We sell the surplus water because people are, well, some of them are grounding and they don't need it. So we engineer how to rapidly manipulate moving water across the land to specialized holding areas. There are customers that want to buy it. California's burning down. Oh, California wants water really bad right now. Yeah, there's serious fire problems. And you know, Canada wants more water too. A lot of room for us to do a wonderful deal with Canada. Britain as well, you know. Guarantee everybody's labor to be bankable always. My plan to get everyone back to work, AI says it's simple. It's the best modern plan in the history of the world, bar none. Get people back to work even if they're building their own home. They make their own job. It's the most incredibly solid proposal in the history of the world. The balance on this is pretty much flawless. The computers are impressed. It works great on the economy. Computers work great to catch people, well, basically intentionally committing mass economic sabotage. Of course, you know, the Constitution identifies that as an item that, well, comes with execution. So same thing with, mass cyber attack. Yeah. Comes with a death penalty. Yeah. So, I really would, like people, I'm asking really nicely, would you would all of y'all please just step away from the criminals running for office, please? I've got these computers, I'm ready to go to work, I need to go pick up a bunch of classified information. These people don't want to cooperate with the emergency management budget, and I'm really sick and tired of this, So if any of you people, halfway believe what I'm saying, we can all get together, and start arresting people. Get the court going again. I filed papers, notice of operations startup. Yeah, I claimed my candidate rights, the right of a candidate. Oh, insurrection, yeah, the right of a candidate to declare a panel, basically, and a lot of other rights. I said yes, claim to all. So, there it is. We're coming up on 22 minutes into the broadcast, so to speak. The old podcast, or pod speech, as you might call it, in political terms. And I'm just hoping that some of you would begin becoming more friendly and communicative, because I really need you good citizens to please, in the name of ethics, could you just step away from the criminal politicians that are running for office, please? It will be a lot easier to deal with things. And we want to, because I want to move forward. We need the rapid economy repair, and I've got it all figured out. So, and the computers agree with me. So, and the way it's going, the computers say none of you are going to come close. None of you are predicted to be able to come anywhere close to doing what I've already done, yet alone doing what I could adjust to. So it's important. Citizens, voters, please help me out here. Spend a little more time with my stuff here and understand these criminals have no right to violate national security, to participate in destroying archives, or be in dereliction of duty and refuse services. These are criminal charges. You don't tell people that that's a civil matter. They're criminal charges. Well, I'm tired of all their BS. It's time to start arresting them. So I'm going to need some volunteers ready to, get together and work rationally with some nice rational communications, and we can move forward with handing out the dream right now, here, today, this election. It's time to do this. I'd like to thank you very much for your time. Again, my name is Michael Crosby, and I'm a candidate for Potus 2024. I lean Democrat, but hey, I've got the right plan, period. So thank you for your time.